So let's jump in. I think it would be an understatement if I said everything is a little weird right now. And that includes, of course, the start of the school year. Schools are either virtual or semi-virtual in most of the state. A lot of our members are worried about what that means for their employees and their employees' ability to get to their job, to stay for the full day, as they're trying now to juggle everything that's going on at home and their jobs. So it has implications for both the employer and the employee, of course. Our members have told us they know that parents are trying to figure out how they're going to make the new school schedule fit into their lives, their work commitments, and just the rest of their family commitments as well. And it's not an easy juggling act right now. I know that my kids are grown and I don't need to worry about this any longer. Several of the team members at SBAM have school-age kids, and I watch them trying to balance everything out, and I know it's anything but easy on them right now. At SBAM, our concern is always our members and their ability to respond to change. I think the new buzzword right now is to pivot in this time. We have seen a lot of our members doing that. We want to make sure that we help them in any way we can by at least giving them options that they can present to their kids, so that they can, or to their employees, for the employees' kids, so that the employees can get to the job site and get the work done. Some of the statistics that I've seen, upwards of 20% of the entire workforce will be negatively impacted by schools going virtual or semi-virtual, or just simply not opening in the way that they have for, a century or two. Puts a whole new level of stress on the employee and on the employer, and we're trying to help. So in turn, I know that our members are looking for affordable options, looking for some choices, some things that they can do to help their employees out. So with that in mind, about a week ago, we launched a brand new program with Sylvan Learning Centers to help our members navigate this new normal. With today, I have Jenny from Sylvan Learning Centers. Jenny, you want to introduce yourself and something real quickly here?
Absolutely. Again, my name's Jenny Kippers. I am the Executive Director of Sylvan of West Michigan. I've been part of Sylvan for over 8 years now, and I've been part of the Lansing area, Sylvan, and for 2 years there, and then 6 years over here on the west side of the state. I have my education degree and really focused on building in that education support for our kids.
Great. So tell me a little bit about Sylvan in Michigan. How many locations are there? What are the options for in-facility training and tutoring? And just give me a brief summary of what it looks like when someone engages with Sylvan.
Yeah, absolutely. So Sylvan is all across the state of Michigan. For West Michigan, we are up to Traverse City, down to Kalamazoo. The farthest north Sylvan goes on the other side of 127 is up to Mount Pleasant. There's a lot of locations over in the Detroit, Ann Arbor area, Troy, Saginaw, and about 5 specifically in the Lansing area as well. So once you connect with Sylvan, you can either do that through going to our Sylvan website, sylvanlearning.com, and typing in your zip code in the top right-hand corner, and it will connect you with the closest Sylvan to you. And then you can either send in a web contact form or call our 800 number and be connected with that Sylvan location. Once we get started there, it's all personalized to what you need for your child. what works for your family, and then we continue to build and adapt based off of where your child is to help them be successful and confident in their academic needs.
Great. So I know one of the options is to bring your child to the Sylvan Learning Center. I think that's called School Support at Sylvan. Talk a little bit about what that looks like. Who's it appropriate for? And once they land on the Sylvan facility, what's it look like over the course of a day for that child?
Absolutely. So School Support at Sylvan is our new program that we are offering to all families of any age student, starting at kindergarten, going up to high school. We do know that juniors and seniors in high school may feel like they don't need the extra support to get their schoolwork done, but when they're not required to get work done on their days off from being in the building, or there's no structure to the day, there's a lot of challenges and frustrations that parents begin to feel with their child because they're not adapting and continuing to grow in their academics. So school support, we have 4 key components for our structure. The first one is to keep kids focused and motivated to learn. So we know that it's hard to keep students focused on their schoolwork when there's so many other things to do during the day. I just talked to a parent who said their kid took their 10-minute break from virtual learning, and 45 minutes later still didn't get back on their class site because they got caught watching TV. So there's no structure in the day, and that makes it really hard for a parent to continue to work their full-time job, manage that, plus manage their child and the structure of the school day, and continue to be the parent. So it's very complicated to do all 3 hats when you have to work 40 hours in all different areas. So our number one focus is to motivate them to learn and keep them from having distractions, which is why we have our safe and controlled environment. So here at Sylvan, we focus on following all of the CDC guidelines, what the county mandates as far as cleaning procedures, social distancing, everything that comes out, we are adapting to it as quickly as we possibly can to make sure our students are safe in our buildings. With this, it gives the students a chance to have this social interaction. Kids are missing that. For the younger grades, they are dying to have that experience to be able to interact with other kids. That's a lot of what they go to school for, and then they build on that education based off of their ability to social interact with other kids. So here we have that set up. They will have a set structured day. They walk in for their school support at Sylvan, and we will set up a structure. What time do they have to be on their virtual classrooms? What assignments do they have? Are they supposed to get on IXL? Are they supposed to get on another website? Do they need to switch from Google Classroom to a Zoom account? We will write all of that down with all the passwords so they can see their structure. And then if they have extra time, we'll do an interactive game. We'll give them the lunch break. A lot of our locations have open space outside, so we can actually go outside, take the mask off, have that social distance in the fresh air, and eat lunch and enjoy it while the weather's still nice before the snow flies. And then the 4th component that we really focus on is having consistent support. It has been such a strange time for us as adults, but it's been even harder on kids. They thrive off of structure. Research shows that kids need to have that constant, and there has been no constant whatsoever for our students in the last 6 months and continuing. So giving them the safe space where they can have face-to-face instruction with a teacher, whether it's one of our coaches or one of our certified teachers, they're able to stay on top of everything. Parents can set up the weekly schedule. So if you have 2 days in school, 2 days virtual, you can come to Sylvan on those virtual days and still get that structure of, okay, you wake up at 7:30, you eat breakfast, and you're on the road by 8:15 and get started at Sylvan. So they're always doing the same routine, And that's what's going to help our kids to come back to feeling that personal connection and having that chance to thrive in their academics and getting back to some sort of normal interaction that they're looking for.
Thank you. That was exactly where I was going to go next. To, you know, if you can map it to if it's a semi-virtual or a full virtual, or what so in my world, when our kids were younger, my wife worked as well, and you know, we would get them off and get them to their school, and then you know, they would be picked up at a certain time. So I would imagine the day fits as well the parent schedule. If they're not able to get there until 5 or 5:30, is the option in place that the child will stay and do their homework and all of that at the Sylvan Center?
Yes, absolutely. So we have options of 3 hours at a time, 4 hours at a time, or a full 7-hour day. So you can come with whether one day, all 5 days, you have a lot of different options.
So I know that you mentioned that Sylvan has followed all the CDC guidelines. You want to dive into that a little bit more, because that's a concern of a lot of parents. I've heard folks say, you know, I'm glad my kid's not at home, or, you know, that was early on. I'm not sure they're still glad their kid is at home if they're trying to be mom, dad, teacher, coach, you know, everything. So talk a little bit about the cleaning of the facilities, and, you know, put the parents' minds at ease a little bit on the steps you've taken.
Yeah, absolutely. So here I can specifically talk for Sylvan of West Michigan. And I'm kind of pretty much guarantee every other location does very similar. When a student is dropped off at the location, we ask them to wait out in their car until an employee of Sylvan comes out to greet them with the big 6 questions. So asking them if they have the temperature. Well, we'll do a temperature check for one, but asking them, is anybody else in their house sick? Do they have a sore throat? All the rest of those questions. And then as they come into the building, they are required to wear a mask or the face shield. We will then hand them a stylus and a pencil, and those are theirs to keep for that day. And then once they sit down, if they need our materials, such as an iPad, paper, anything else, that iPad will stay with them until they're done. And then once they're done, the student will take it to our table that is specifically designated for cleaning supplies. So every pencil, stylus, iPad is wiped down between each use of students, and the tables are wiped down between each hour of instruction. So as our kids rotate during our personalized programs, that's where the iPad will travel with them, so they're not switching iPads with another student. The teachers are wiping down the chairs, the table, anything else that may have been used that hour before the next student comes. And then every couple of hours, the doorknobs are wiped down. Drinking fountains are not allowed. We have hand sanitizer for kids to use during each hour. So there's a lot of cleaning that is going on to make sure that the entire center is clean and the kids are safe and still being able to have the fun that they need to have while they're learning.
Great. That's the school support. That's one of the opportunities that Sylvan makes available, but there's additional ones. If school support, the full day, is not what is needed for that child, there are other options. One of them is personalized tutoring, and the second one is homework support. And talk about both of them, but how different from one another as well.
Yes, so just from everything that's happened with COVID and then summer, we already know that there's a normal 2.5-month summer slide for academics. With COVID in place and the lack of education at the end of spring and starting this school year, we are seeing 9 months of learning loss for language arts and over a year of learning loss for math. So a personalized program will be very beneficial for any student. One, we start with an individualized assessment. This assessment will show us exactly where your child is at, what strengths they have, and what areas of opportunity they have in order to get caught back up to grade level, get ahead of grade level. Whatever your goal is, we will be able to tailor a program to reach your goal for your child. We always see that the need usually comes down to self-confidence in their academics. So building them up, helping them realize it's okay to ask questions is a lot of what we focus on so that they can be able to take what we're teaching them in Sylvan, retain it, tell you at home as the parent, and then also show it on their schoolwork. So they need to be able to show it in 3 different touch points for it to prove that it is stuck in their head. And that's really what we focus on with our personalized tutoring. And that is done with certified teachers. All of our teachers are either retired classroom teachers, professors, current teachers, or teachers who are making a transition from one school to the next, substitute teachers. They all have their teaching certificate for our personalized programs and our homework support as well. So homework support is more focused on, we need help with this specific subject, say Algebra 2. It's a different way of learning than what we learned when we were in school. So now having a teacher who is certified in math to be able to teach my child because they weren't able to connect with it the way that their classroom teacher taught it. And that's really what our homework support is guided towards, is giving them the tools, filling in the gaps that they missed with that class, and helping them complete their homework and prepare for any test or quizzes.
Great. I know that when my son and daughter hit about, I don't know if it was freshman year, sophomore year, that my wife tapped out when it came to math and science. Elaine was great in the languages and in English and things like that. I had the government side of it covered, but we were pretty alone when it came to math and science, and we're lucky that our kids figured it out for themselves because we weren't going to be a whole lot of help to them. I do remember a couple times telling my son, call your grandmother, who was a high school math teacher. So we had our own version of home report over the long distance phone lines back to New York so he could talk to Grandma Clark. So that was that. I know where that fits in. I can relate to where that absolutely fits in. Talk about a little bit more. So there's 3 programs. There's school support, personalized tutoring, and homework support. Because they would come, one of our members would come through SBAM, there are some pricing changes, some discounts that are available. If you could lay them out really quickly, that would be helpful.
Yes, absolutely. So because of your SBAM membership, you are able to receive the following benefits that we are offering for all of our employee benefits packages. So first of all, we are starting with a $19 assessment. Normally it's $99, but you guys would receive it at the $19. This is that assessment that I mentioned where you would come in, we would figure out exactly where your child is at, get their full 360 view of academics, and create a personalized plan from there. Another option for you guys is a 20% off a semester of personalized tutoring or homework support. So based off of that assessment, whatever the recommendation would be, you would get 20% off of that. We are also offering 50% off your first month of school support. And our last offer for you guys is a free ACT or SAT practice test. So this will give us an idea of exactly where your child would score on their future ACT or SAT, whichever one they choose. And also give you $50 off our college prep program. And we'll help you in that whole college process. What scores would be needed for the college of your child's choosing, what we need to do to get them to that point, and also help in the process of doing applications and writing essays and all that stuff. So a lot of great opportunities to benefit all of the employees of SBAM and just getting their child back on track and growing in their academics to reach their overall goals.
Fantastic, thanks. The one question I forgot to ask earlier is when school support, I think the answer is 8, up to 8 kids per, or is that not right? Is that,
yes.
Go ahead.
Yep, so school support, we will go up to, depending on age range, we'll go anywhere between 8 to 10 students with a tutor or coach. But as far as our personalized tutoring, it's no more than 3 students at a table, and each student is doing their own program.
Okay, fantastic. That's all the questions that I had. Was there a question that I was supposed to ask, forgot, that you want to get out there to the SBAM members that are seeing this? Or are we in pretty good shape?
You asked everything that I had.
Okay, good. Well, again, to learn more, all you need to do is go to SBAM, www.sbam.org/Sylvan, and then you'll be directed from there. All of the contact information that Jen outlined early on in this program, you can reach it right from, and Kelly just put it up in the bottom of the screen. So it's www.am.org/Sylvan, and you can learn all of the information for yourself right on that on the website, and reach out to the Sylvan Learning Center close to you. Thank you everyone for joining us today. Jenny, thank you for your time, and have a great day, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.